Welcome back to the Reliance YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about our 24-volt DC power supply for our Eye-Hye SmartLevel control units. In front of me we have our Eye-Hye SmartLevel control unit with 12 probe systems. First, let's start with the basics. On the NEMA 4 enclosure, we have a medium SmartLevel indicator and a miniature door-mounted indicator. The medium indicators are designed for panel mounting inside the control room. Indicators should be installed in a location that allows for continuous visibility by the operator to meet ASME Section 1 boiler and pressure vessel code requirements as a remote level indicator. Inside the enclosure, we have the 12 microprocessor-based probe modules. These are connected to the probes on the SmartLevel column. On the left-hand side, we have the display driver module, which is connected to the medium and miniature indicators, a 6-channel relay card, which connects the SmartLevel to your boiler control system for alarm and trip points, and an optional smart relay card there, which can handle voting logic and other functions. Then finally, at the bottom, we have our 2 power supplies. On the right, there is the 120-volt AC input for power, which is connected to our RSLC 25 power supply. This is the standard power supply and works with 120 or 240-volt AC. On the left-hand side, we have our 24-volt DC power supply, which is RSLC 91. The inputs for the 24-volt DC power supply are found on the front of it at that terminal block that's green. The RSLC 91 can be used as a main power supply for the SmartLevel control unit, or it can be used as a backup power supply connected to a generator loop. The Reliance SmartLevel system can be powered by either one single AC power source, 2 AC power sources, a combination of main AC power supply and a DC backup power supply, or 2 DC power supplies. If the SmartLevel will utilize AC and DC power supplies, then the DC supply must be used on the left connection. 24-volt DC input power is connected to the front of the power supply using the green terminal block. Next to the terminal block are 4 built-in switches to activate the built-in features of the power supply. When switch 1 is in the up position, this enables the feature to automatically change power source of the control unit upon detection that there is a loss of power on the main supply. Notice power is currently flowing through the RSLC 25 power supply on the right. You can see the AC in is illuminated green and the DC out is illuminated green, saying that there is a DC signal flowing through the control unit. On the left-hand side, we can see that the power supply has DC in illuminated and AC on is illuminated green, showing that power is currently flowing through that right power supply. I'm going to disconnect the power, the 120-volt source, which should disconnect the power to the RSLC 25 power supply. Notice how the green LEDs on that power supply have now went dim and are no longer illuminated, but on the left power supply, we have the DC in is green and the DC on has changed to an amber color and is illuminated. This is signaling that the DC power supply on the left is powering the SmartLevel control unit now. I'm going to plug back in that 120-volt source, and it's going to automatically switch back to the SLC 25 power supply. Switch 2 is normally supplied in the up position. However, if it is moved to the down position, this enables a setting that flashes the AC on LED as an alert to operations that there is an interruption in power. I will demo this feature now. We'll change switch 2 to the down position. And then when an interruption of power happens, what's going to happen is the AC on or DC on will switch. And then when power comes back to the main power supply, the AC on LED flashes, indicating to the operations team that there was an interruption in power at some point, even though power is completely running through the SLC 25 power supply currently. Once operations has figured out why the interruption in power happened, they can come back through and reset switch 2, which then stops the blinking light from happening. Switch 3 in the up position is standard. However, if it is changed to the down position in conjunction with switch 2, this enables an automatic feature that strobes the AC on light, but also changes the status of the indicator light to red to signal to the operations team in the control room that there has been an interruption in the power supply. So we're going to change switch 2 to down, switch 3 to down, and then now, when we have an interruption in power, power switches to the DC power supply, DC on light comes on, We're going to restore power to the system after the interruption. Power switches back to the main power supply for AC. We can see that our AC on light is flashing, showing that there's an interruption in power. And on the front of the control unit, the indicators now have a system status as red. Now, the system never was interrupted, but this red light here is signaling to operations that, hey, there was an interruption in the power supply or something in the cabinet to signal that maintenance or someone should go and look at the control unit or the probe column itself. Switch 4 will be supplied from the factory in the down position and should stay in the down position for most scenarios. Switch 4 operates a cooling fan for the DC power supply. Changing switch 4 to the up position will disable the cooling fan and allow for maintenance of the power supply. This concludes our overview of the RSLC 91 24-volt DC power supply for the SmartLevel Eye-Hye control unit. If you have any questions or equipment needs, please reach out to your local Clark Reliance sales representative or the factory.